Bodie says, ongoing orange pilling my daughter. She listens to Robert Kiyosaki. I told her skip the real estate play and head straight for Biddy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. I think it was a book, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think I listened to it on the audio, but I went through that too. I was like blown away by it, because the main strategy there that Robert Kiyosaki uses is never selling your assets. He used real estate. He's a Bitcoiner now, but he used real estate to do that. And so what he does there is he buys a house, he gets some equity in it. This is from the ground floor. Get some equity in it. He goes to the bank, refinances the mortgage, gets more money for the value of the original house, goes and buys more real estate with that. The value of that goes up. The equity increases in that. He goes back to the bank and says, I want to refinance all these, buys more real estate with it. During this whole process, he's paid zero taxes on it. That's the whole thing that people should get from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You could do the exact same strategy with Bitcoin. Maybe not yet, but you're going to be able to do this with Bitcoin. And I think that Bitcoin is going to be actually the preferred collateral of the banking system in the not so distant future. It's so obvious to me, because if you compare Bitcoin to the other assets and how they're used as collateral, the banks have to verify ownership of it. They have to verify the valuation of it, if it's changed, if it's fluctuated, how much you own of it. There's so many things involved there. It's such a lengthy process where if you stop making your loan payments, they're going to have a hard time selling your land. It's a limited market there in your area. They have to have a whole bunch of people involved, a whole bunch of fees involved. They have to continually revalue it, make sure that the loan isn't exceeding the value of it. Whereas with Bitcoin, they can just log on to a website and see how much your wallet has in there and what the value of it is in 5 minutes. And if you stop making your payments, they can sell that within the day. They don't have to find somebody locally to buy it. They don't have to get lawyers involved, the banks involved, none of that. They can sell that Bitcoin that day. So I think that if you start buying Bitcoin now and you leverage it, similar to what Saylor's doing right now, I mean, you're not going to get 0% interest rates, but you can use the exact same strategy. And you never pay any tax on it. That's the whole thing with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is that he leveraged his way up. He used real assets, the equity, the inflation helped him, the value of it. And he just kept buying more and paid zero tax on it because he never sold any. And I think that everybody should be using that strategy in Bitcoin eventually, or at least preparing for that. And that's why Saylor's company, nobody really sees far enough out yet. But that's why his company is going to be so valuable, is because the collateral that he's going to have is ungodly. He's going to be able to do whatever he wants and invest in whatever he wants. So that's the whole thing that he's building there, is just collateral.